Warum willst du jagen?
Weil ihr alle denkt, ich kann es nicht. Ich sah ein Zeichen am Himmel. Ich bin bereit.
Did you know from the beginning that this was going to be a Predator movie?
No, I did not. I just knew that it was a movie about a young Comanche woman in like, I don't know if it was even 1719 at that time, but like generally the time period, who wanted to be a hunter. And I knew that Dan was directing, and I thought that that was really interesting, and I really liked it.
So how did you react then when you found out that you were basically going to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger?
With fear. Mostly I was scared, and then I got excited because it's you spend so much time on something without knowing a lot about it, and then kind of there's no more mystery left, and it's in front of you, and so kind of some of your fears go away, but also then new challenges are presented with the idea of what that is, and it's kind of a lot to take in.
Yeah, and you're also the first female lead in a Predator film. What does that mean for you?
I mean, everything, especially, I view this not just as the first female lead of a Predator film, but also the first Indigenous female lead, an action hero, maybe at all. And that to me is the biggest responsibility, and the biggest thing that I'm proud of about this film is that exists, and that we got to have that, and Dan and 20th Century got behind creating a film and a character like that reflects a strong Indigenous woman, especially at this time period.
What was the most difficult scene in the film for you?
Oh, there are so many. The river sequence, I was very nervous to shoot, I guess, because a lot of elements, all the elements of this movie are very either real or practical, but a river is like an alive thing that you cannot control, and we had to like hike down a mountain and get in like a boat and then go across the river, continue hiking, and then we were like at the location where they had built like the beaver dam, and we were going to be like up on the cliff and stuff like that. So that was definitely like a moment that it was like a lot of us versus the elements, and that whole sequence to me was like, I was very excited and also very scared.
This probably won't be the last Predator movie. What advice would you give the leading actress or the leading actor for the next film?
Oh, just to be that it will probably be harder than you think it will be. Because somehow I read this script and still didn't realize like how much action was in it. And to just be as ready as possible and know that you can't be ready for everything.
Did you get along with Dane DeLigro, who plays the Predator?
Yeah, he came later than I'm trying to remember if he came to Calgary after we started shooting. So, we were like on set much of the time, and he was in rehearsal and stuff like that. But, Dane definitely like wanted to like serve as much as he possibly could to this Predator, and especially to Dan's version of this Predator. So having a workspace like that definitely like created a certain air when, you're doing those scenes and it's like Predator time, and you come in and put the, because otherwise he's just like walking around like a guy in a suit in his head, and it's like open in the back, but then it's like you put the head on and it's like it starts moving and all this kind of stuff, and then you're like, okay, wow, this is like, it's real and we're doing it.
For many, the first Predator movie with Arnold is the best of the series, but which other film in the franchise do you have a soft spot for?
Definitely the original one. I love that one. I think that none of them would exist without that one, and that's definitely the one that is like sticks around and is here to stay, and I think has kind of proved itself through the test of time.
Do you remember the first time you saw it?
Yes, it was, I think after I realized that this was a Predator film. I might have seen like parts of it, or maybe I'd seen it, but definitely it was in like once I knew what this was and going back and like revisiting. the films and getting to like experience it, and it was just very cool.
With the purchase of 20th Century Fox, the Predator is now at Disney. What crossover opportunities do you see there?
Well, there's a big one in the comic books. That's Predator versus Wolverine. And I think that would be awesome.
And for you, Jane?
Gee, I don't know. I haven't really thought about that question. I don't know. I'd like to see Amber though, since Amber is our lead, I'd like to see her as one of the Disney princesses. I think there's opportunity for that.
This film will also be available on Hulu in Comanche. How important was this for you, Jane? And do you hope this film will inspire more production to shoot in indigenous tribal languages?
Absolutely. I think this film kind of shifts the paradigm that was set by Hollywood, because we have very few films in the native language. But for me, being Comanche, this is the first time that a film has ever been in the Comanche language. And this is the first time that a brand new movie has ever came out with a complete native language dub.
But the main selling point for this film is still, of course, the Predator. What other characters from the film industry would you put in a Comanche setting to bring indigenous tribes more into the spotlight?
You have some great questions. I think I personally, being Comanche, I think we can be anywhere. I truly believe that. So I'd like to even see us, in with some other superheroes, and just like there's some other people doing some things with native tribes, but yeah, definitely with superheroes.
For many, the first Predator movie with Arnold is the best of the series, but which other film in the series do you have a soft spot for?
Which other film? I mean, we can't not say Predator 2. That certainly led to this movie. And I love Predators so much as well. Frankly, all of the films in the franchise have had a lot of cool in them, even if they didn't entirely connect. They all have super cool parts. So, but I like Predator 2. I love Predators. Yeah.
I think it has to be this one. So you watched it. What do you think?
I liked it. I liked the setting and all. It was like very, very clever. Like they didn't have like many like weapons that like Arnold and friends had. So it brought like a whole new thing to the table. So I thought it was like brilliantly done. So congratulations on the movie. This is also the first Predator movie without Predator in the title. Did you have to fight hard for that?
No, it was actually the very first thing that I pitched along with the take, was this title. And I think it melds so well because it functions the way that the Predator title functions. It has the same double meaning, and it suggests that this is not just the next one in the franchise, that it is very much its own thing, yet is a part of the franchise.
There are some famous movie mistakes, like the white car showing up in Braveheart. How do you make sure something like that doesn't happen in a movie which is set 300 years ago?
I'm not sure that we did. I mean, who knows? There might be a coffee cup ending up in this movie.
I hope not. It was really hard, especially shooting in Alberta, because we were out in the wilderness, right? So we really tried to watch for that. But one of the things that I like is the lack of technology in this film, because in the 1700s, you wouldn't have that. And I think one of my favorite scenes, I laugh every time I see it, is when those 4 French guys shoot him with their single shot, guns, and he's still standing there looking at them, and they're trying to hurry and load up again. And that, to me, that's so funny, because yes, that doesn't beat the Predator.